Y'all already know what time it is. It is the time for playoffs. Finally here. Wild card round. Oh yeah, he got the one seed. Well, you already said that though. He had the points over you, so but I mean, hey, it is what it is. You sent the message to him, letting him know, you went how fast you turned around from the first season to the next season. But it was a interesting season. I gotta go back and look at the recap to talk about what happened. Um, man, talk about what happened the final week, the final week of the season that came down to it. First, we had the Colts and Texans, and Texas won this one. This one was actually for the division, and we did what we needed to do. You know what I'm saying? The defense showed up. The defense was suffocating, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the coach felt nervous a little bit because, let's be honest, he's not used to being in that position. So and I always say when you playing, because that was a playoff game. So when playoff games come, trust me, and it ain't just the Colts, it's everybody. Everybody knows that when you playing for the big game, one game elimination is different than a regular season game. So uh but I ain't got no issues with the coach. For some reason, the coach have an issue with me. I mean, he keep trying to turn this into, because even now he said and I said the fifth quarter, he said, yeah, talk about how trash the Colts are. I wasn't even going to say nothing about that, and I'm still not. You know what I'm saying? But I know, you definitely voted against us hard. I remember last season in the playoffs when I played the Steelers. Who jumped in the chat said go Steelers? It was you. I don't care about stuff like that. I mean, it's all fun. It's all fun and games, but I mean, at the end of the day, you show way more that you have an issue with me more than I have with you. Like I don't have nothing. The only reason why we clashed the other day is because you started talking crazy about, setting wins for the Jags and myself. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's my integrity. That has nothing to do with the game. Gameplay is gameplay. But when you start saying things like that, it's not good to say that because you plant them seeds and somebody might actually believe that. Although I'm pretty sure all the other 31 users in this league know I don't got sucker in my DNA to do no bogus stuff like that. You know what I mean? But when you saying stuff like that, that's when I'm like, yo, all right, bro, like you kind of, talking reckless. And again, I never once said anything about you. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing I said was that the Jags opened his mouth when I did the fifth quarter. And I was like, yo, for a dude that's one game under 500, why are you talking reckless to us when we still had game and we still had to play twice? And I said that, and anybody that remember that fifth quarter, I said that. I said, yo, we still got to play two times. You know, and as far as the Colts, I mean, look, I knew I was going to win this game because when I played the Colts early in the season, that's when I knew my system was messed up. I only scored 10 points against the Colts. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing is, I seen that my defense shut him down with a messed up system. So I knew now that I'm back to regular, I wasn't really worrying about this. I wasn't going to take you lightly because anything could happen. I ain't played perfect. I had turnovers. I did some crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, I was like, yo, we lose. If we lose this game, then we deserve to get in the playoffs. Forget anything else. Bottom line. But I ain't got no issues with the Colts. You know what I'm saying? Like we on to bigger and better things. Like I ain't got nothing to say against the Colts. I ain't got no issues with the Jags neither. I just had to let him know, like, before you before you start talking, you got to make sure you dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's first and foremost. But it was a good run. I mean, look, the sad news is I won't have a season like this again. So this was your chance. This was your chance to get in there. And the Titans is pretty solid. So he gonna have something to say next season as well. But um as far as I see, man, we run this division from now till it ain't no more bad 26. But anyway, Texas moved on, punched their ticket, way to come back in the playoffs, to make the playoffs rather. We got the job done. Seattle and Washington. This is a good game, but I'm not gonna hold you. I don't know what happened with Washington the second half of the season. They they collapsed. They remember at one point in time that whole division was cruising. I mean, like Washington had a loss for a while. Washington had no losses in the tie. Then he was dancing. He was hanging around for a while. The second half of the season, I mean, I know what happened. His schedule got tough. His schedule got tough, and he was losing all the tough games. All the games that he had against tough opponents, he was losing. And there's really no more to say other than that. He just wasn't winning the big ones. The ones he needed, he couldn't pull it out. But he battled to the end. But when you're talking playoffs, just battling is not going to get it done. Seahawks, he had another solid year. He cruised in his division. Um, he took care of business. I believe he played all the starters this week. I could be wrong. I don't know. But Seattle is going to be a problem in a playoff. So, I don't think he got no major injuries. So I'm pretty sure he'll be suited and booted. The Dolphins took care of the Pats. No, he didn't swept the Patriots. Patriots beat him the first time around, but this time Dolphins got revenge at the most crucial time, because if the Dolphins would have lost this, he would have been out. I ain't gonna say I believe, he would have been out. So Dolphins got a much needed win, and he still needed some things to go his way. This didn't set him in, but it definitely set the tone. Cowboys, they balled out all year. They had a good season. They finished off big against the 49ers, hoping that the Eagles would trip up, but that didn't happen. Jets and Bills. Listen, I got to get the Jets. I got to give the Jets major props. I mean, he came back. Buffalo, Buffalo and Washington and um oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought, yeah, I misread that. You was right. I definitely misread that. Because for some reason, what threw me off was E-ball having that seventh seed spot. You know what I'm saying? Like that threw me for a loop, but you absolutely was right. Um, Listen, several guys had the same type of season. Buffalo, Commanders, uh, and I gotta say Jags as well. On a smaller scale for the Jags though, because the Jags never got off to a hot start, but he definitely needed some wins down the stretch that he just could not get. The Bills and Commanders had the same type of year because they had a good first half of the season and they had a terrible second half of the season. If you remember when I predicted this game, I said if there were no weather elements, I had Buffalo winning because I knew Buffalo can pass. He got a nice passing game. He got a nice passing attack with Josh Allen. But I also said if it's snowing or if it's any type of weather, like if it's bad weather, I gave the edge to the Jets because the Jets, if they're not the best, they are definitely one of the best running teams in the league. And we all know it's hard to pass and heavy snow and things like that. And it just so happens they had a brutal storm and the Jets came out victorious. Not only to win this game, but to actually win the division and eliminated the Bills. So this was a major collapse for the Bills. I mean, to be up for like 4 or 5 games the first half of the season, and not make the playoffs, that's pretty big. That's definitely pretty big. You know, uh there's not too many times we see something like that, But man, that's a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow. I'm not even gonna hold you because if that was me, it's gonna be a long off season. I couldn't wait. I would want nothing more than the playoffs to get over with in 2 days if I was the Bills. That's how thirsty I would be for week one. You got other guys who feel like that now that didn't have the collapse that Buffalo had. So trust me, Buffalo wants nothing more than the next season to start like tomorrow. If it was up to Buffalo, week one would be tomorrow. Because this is a tough one. This is a tough one to hold. I mean, and then not have the tiebreaker over Miami too. But Buffalo did this to Buffalo. He got to look back and he gonna realize like, man, we put ourselves in this hole. But when it comes to these league games and things like that, it's all right, cool. It's not always what you did. It's how you handle what happened to you. You know how you handled it. All right, this season you had an epic failure. How do you bounce back from it next year? Did you come into next year with a chip on your shoulder, or do you come into next year still thinking about what happened and it causes damage on your games? But shout out to Jets though. Great win. Way to pull that out. Jets had a tough couple of games to win. He beat the Chargers. He beat Miami. He definitely earned this. He pulled it out at the right time. Remember, I always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Panthers beat the Saints. This game didn't mean much, other than Panthers just gearing up for next season. Giants had a chance to punch their ticket. They could not get it done. They ran up against the Eagles over there. They lose 54-35. Philly been one of the strongest teams all year. Um, they was ready. They was ready for this game. And looking at the score, it looked like they was a little more prepared than the Giants. Um, but if you the Giants, it's not always about, did we make it or not? Cool, yeah, you wanted to make it, but it's like you build on it. You got better from this season from last season, right? So now you got to build and say, well, we're going to get better next season. Next season, we was right there at the door. Next season, we're kicking the door in if you the Giants. And if you Philly, you just saying, look, I know guys around us going to keep getting better in our division, and we got to make sure we keep doing the same. Philly rolled in this one. Uh, just trying to look at other games that meant something. This game was just played. Ram said he's playing for stats, but it looked like he got many stats in this one, not unless he got like a lot of sacks or a couple of picks with a guy or something. Oh, what I just said? I mean, you absolutely, what you mean? What points? This was a fair sim. The uh the Ravens, um the Ravens won the fair sim over the Falcons. This game didn't matter. Nobody was moving up or down in this one. Tennessee beat the Jags 42-38. Um, yeah, yo, bro, I'm telling you, man, like the that's how I just be coming on and just be playing. I don't even be paying attention to them type of things, man. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, I peeped it. I peeped it before I played against the Colts. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, man, listen, we just playing. But yeah, we definitely using that. We definitely. He said I'm horrible. Nah, bro, trust me. I don't be, that's why I'm saying like I don't be knowing a lot of little stuff that guys be knowing. I just be playing, and it's like the points thing. I just be totally forgetting about that. Totally be forgetting about that. But guess what though? I ain't gonna forget before we play this playoff game. You better believe that. They say we got 1,000. We got 1,000 in the stash right now. That's gonna be on zero. Bet that. That's gonna be on zero before we play. Then we had Bucks and Bears. Listen, yeah, I know. I did. I spent a little bit of points the first season. I just didn't do any this year. Um, the Bears. This is not the type of loss you want if you the Bears heading into the playoffs. Because let's be honest, if you the Bears and you plan on going far, you have to think the Bucks is probably going to be a team you're going to have to go through to get there. And this is not the type of loss that you need heading in there. Um, but here we are. Here we are in the playoffs. And we got the 2 seed Raiders going against 7 seed Dolphins. Um, Listen, if you Miami, you just come out and play loose, right? You just play loose. Like it went from looking like you might not get in to you getting in. So it's like, what do you got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Like you coming in this game as the underdog. You're not even supposed to, you're not even supposed to be here technically. So It's one of them things where just come and play your game. Don't overthink it. Yeah, it's a playoff game, but don't overthink it. Just get in your bag and do what it do. You know what I'm saying? But I one thing I will say, Miami has shown moments where he could score a ton of points. So what better time to show that than now? I still say the Raiders the favorite. I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this game, but I think that Raiders will. What I think the Raiders, I think they will win. But if Miami can just not overthink it and just come in and just play ball and not get caught up into we going against the Raiders and just play, I like his chances. You know, I'm gonna say Raiders 49, Miami 41. Now we go over to the NFC. We got number 2 seed Bucks against number 7 seed Falcons. Now, you know, there's a such thing that's called believing and confidence. I kind of think this game was already over before it even began. I don't think I think if you ask the Falcons in order, pick everybody that you want to play in this first round. And I think the Bucks would have been last on his list. I think he would have took anybody else except the Bucks. The Falcons is not coming to this game with no confidence, in my opinion, because it really seemed like he really didn't want to play the Bucks. You know, I know how to read between the lines. But if you the Falcons, you supposed to this go back to last matter. I said the advantage of being in a division with someone who's a great user is that you get to play them twice. You get a chance to play against them and learn more than the average team because I might play the Bucks once this year and might not play them again until year 3. You play the Bucks twice a season. So at this point, this is the third time y'all playing this year. Bucks is not going to do anything different than he has the first 2 matchups. But we all know it's not always about what you know, it's can you stop it? Can the Falcons stop what the Bucks going to bring? That's the question. I don't have no confidence in the Falcons. I would love to see a good game. I would love to see the Falcons compete, but I don't know if the Falcons believe in himself enough to feel like he can pull this out. We'll find out. You know, listen, the tape don't lie. You know, so when they get on the field, we're gonna find out what's what. But I like the Bucks in this one. I'm gonna say 39 23. 39-23 Bucks over the Falcons. We go back to the AFC and we have the Jets, number 3 seed, going against the Steelers, number 6 seed. I got to be honest with you. Anytime you're a team that can run the ball effectively, you are a threat to anybody. And I mean anybody. I don't care if it's the Ravens. I don't care if it's against the Eagles. I don't care who it is. Anytime you got a chance, anytime you can run the ball effectively, you are a dangerous team. You know why? Because it makes the other team feel like they got to capitalize on their opportunities. Because the one thing about a team that can run the ball effectively is what? They controlling the game and they controlling the clock. If you go down to a team that know how to run the ball 7-0, it's pressure on you. You got to come down and you got to score. You got to get something because running that ball, before you know it, the game is short and you feel like, yo, man, I ain't even had a ball like that. This is a dangerous position for the Steelers. And oh, yeah, this in New York. And oh, yeah, it might be snowing again. And oh, yeah, the Jets are a running team. And oh, yeah, the Steelers are not a running team. I'm telling you now, I'm going to say the same thing that I said before when the Jets played the last week when the Jets played the Bills. But I'm not even going to base it just on the weather. I'm going to take the Jets in this one. I think the Jets is riding in this game with a ton of momentum, more momentum than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh kind of stumbled into the playoffs. I mean, I know they won their final game to like solidify themselves, but nah, I think the Jets come into this game with way more moxie. They come into this game feeling like, you know what we're going to do. Your front 7 against our front line, mano a mano. I like the Jets, man. I'm taking the Jets to beat Pittsburgh. I don't care if it's snow or if it's just cold. But I got the Jets, man. But again, that's not to say that I don't think Pittsburgh can win. I just think the Jets will win. But yeah, give me the Jets in this one, 27-24. Swing back to the NFC. We got Bears and Packers. I don't know if they split. I don't know if they played both times against each other. I don't know. I don't know nothing about this one. But I do know what's in front of me right now. The Bears bounced back from a horrible season last year. When I say horrible, he still made the playoffs, but he barely made it. But he got in. This year he came and took care of business. Yeah, he got a lot of fair sims and stuff like that and forces, but you know, a lot of games that he did play, he did win. So I can't take that from him. Packers, dangerous team. Um, this is gonna be a good one. This got final drive written all over it in this one. It's in Chicago, which means that it's probably gonna be some bad weather, but hey, when you Green Bay, you used to bad weather, so that's no problem for them. I don't know, man. This is one that's kind of difficult for me to choose. Um, I gotta be honest. I kind of feel like I'm leaning towards the Packers in this one. For some reason, I'm kind of leaning towards the Packers. I don't know, but the Bears, they the 3 seed, so they definitely the favorite. But I don't know. Something's telling me Green Bay pulls this out, but it's going to be close, in my opinion, no matter who comes out winning this game. And that's the beauty about the playoffs. No matter how good both these teams may play, whoever lose, season is over. So you work all season to get here, and you get to a one-game elimination. That's what's dangerous about the playoffs. I'm going Green Bay, but I'm going close. I'm gonna take Green Bay over the Bears, 31-30. 31-30. Packers over the Bears. That score tells you the game can go either way. Texans going into Chargers. Chargers is coming into Houston. The beauty about the playoffs is that once you get in, that's all that matters. Everybody starts at the same starting mark. It don't matter if you had 0 losses. It don't matter if you have 10 losses and get in. Once you get to this stage, none of that matters anymore. It's about locking in right now, first and foremost, and trying to play as perfect ball as you can. Because what's dangerous about these playoff games, like I said, a turnover can ruin everything. A fumble on the kickoff return could swing the whole game around. He pick it up and score. You're down 7-0. There is no next week. You know, there is no, man, I'm sick. We got to see who our next opponent is. There is no next opponent. Your next opponent is the draft. You know, so that's what's like the thing, and we all know this. Everybody that makes the playoffs know it ain't no time for no experimenting. Ain't no time to be trying to know new plays. Whatever got you here, got you here. Now, as crazy season as the Texans had, I will say we are coming to the game with some more to this playoffs with some momentum. I think we won our last 4 games or something like that. Something like that, you know. We coming to this momentum, but Big Game James, he got that name for a reason. Big Game James is solid. Big Game James is one of them guys that you look at, you see him in the AFC Championship, and you be like, yeah, he nice. You know what I'm saying? He's official. So I expect this to be a good game. I don't predict my games. I just say who's the favorite. Um, Look, man, Texans, I feel like coming to this one with more steam. You know, I feel like we got more of a charge. So I'm gonna say Texans favor in this one by 3 over the Chargers. But nevertheless, it's gonna be a good one. You know what I mean? Like we gonna make the most with this opportunity. You know, what happened what happened for us to get here, it probably will never happen again. You know, I know I'm not gonna have the type of season that I just had ever again. But the fact that I was able to make the most of it still and pull this out, oh, we're gonna cherish this moment. And we're gonna get everything we got against this Charger team. And last but not least, we got the Cowboys and Seahawks. I'm not gonna lie to you, this might be the most interesting game in the first round. Will you probably say why? Well, the Cowboys been rolling all year. They lost the division by points, so they had the same record as the Eagles. And the Seahawks, as you can see, they home. They've been killing this year. They wiped out their division fast. They ain't play no games. And now one of these two top teams is out. There is no ties. There is no nothing. Somebody's going home after this first round. And this is the big two teams over here in this NFC. Don't get it twisted. Um, the Eagles gets the bye. He would have been in this spot if the Cowboys would have had more points. But man, this is a tough game. This is a tough one to call. Um, right. I was just about to say that. Well, I was just about to say, for what I remember, these two played in the regular season, and the Cowboys got on his head and didn't never look back. Now, again, that's regular season, and Seahawks, I'm sure they remember that. So they come into this game feeling like, yeah, what better time to get revenge than now? Because if these two play next year in the regular season, the Seahawks will remember that still and still try to get revenge. But this is the biggest stage. But the same way he noticed the biggest stage, so do the Cowboys. The Seahawks is the one that got to make the adjustment, not the Cowboys. The Cowboys blew the Seahawks out. The Cowboys ain't got to make no adjustments. The Seahawks got to adjust to what the Cowboys did to them, and the Cowboys will make adjustments to the adjustment that the Seahawks have made. You follow me? Hope I ain't lose nobody on that one. But I'm going with the Cowboys in this one, man. I got to give it up to Josh. He bounced back this year, and the defense more than anything is what got him to this point to have a great season. He had a great season. Again, a couple of points he lost by not to get the division, but this is going to be a big game. I got the Cowboys though, man. But one thing I'd say, I don't think the Cowboys will blow Seattle out in this one. I got it to be closer than what it was in the regular season matchup, but nevertheless, I like the Cowboys. It's in Seattle, so he definitely on the road, but I'm taking Dallas in this one. I'm gonna say 42-35, 42-35, and that might be a little too much points. But I just got seven. I got the Cowboys by seven, by a touchdown. But yeah, we got some big games, man. It's this some big, big games going down in this first round. This first round gonna set the tone. We got some coming in as heavy favorites, but that don't mean nothing. You still gotta play, you know. You still gotta play. But great season. Looking forward to see how these playoffs go out. And good luck to everybody. And y'all know what it is. Two men enter, one man leaves. Who will be the team that leaves and survives? We'll find out shortly after this fifth quarter, because I think some games will get played today. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how this thing shake out. I don't think nobody in this playoffs has major injuries. I didn't check the injury report to see. I mean, somebody could have a big injury for all I know, but I didn't even check it to find out. But for the most part, I think everybody's pretty healthy. So nobody has the injury to worry about. They don't have their best receiver, or they shut down corner and things like that. So um, nothing less to do. There's nothing left to do now except just get it. Time to get it. So it's time to go to work. So let's go to work. I see y'all on a divisional round. I'm Ghost.